I want you to wake up and take yourself through your daily routine. You get out of bed, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you get ready for work, you go to work, you have lunch, you come home to have dinner. Now, what do all these things have in common? I'll let you think about that. First, I want to tell you what sustainability means to me. To me, sustainability is keeping something alive, keeping it moving forward. This can be economically, politically, or environmentally. The things that I want to have sustainability are things that have value to me. And one of those things is water. Today, I'm going to discuss with you why we should conserve water. I'll then move on to the consequences for not conserving water, and then we'll discuss how we can save water. Why should we conserve water? Well, for starters, we use it every day. I want you to refer back to what I said earlier. We use water every day in our lives with everything that we do. You can see it all around you. Water is something that has value to everybody's life. It brings life. Water is technically a renewable source, we all know. We know the water cycle, it rains, it evaporates, it rains. However, with our ever-growing population, we tend to be consuming water faster than it can regenerate. And a big reason to save water is it saves money. Lots of people are financially driven, and so when you say, hey, if you save water, then you'll save money, you get a lot of people in the same boat as you. Now I'm going to explain to you some of the consequences for not saving water. It may not be available to future generations if we don't save water now. As I mentioned before, our ever-growing population has an ever-growing demand for water, and not only water, but fresh water. Most of the world is covered in water. Over 75% of this world is covered in water. However, the amount of usable water is very limited, and making that unusable water into usable water is a very tricky process and requires lots of time, and time that not all of us have right now. Shortages of water are inevitable. I agree. And if we have shortages of water, it leads to other shortages, such as food shortages. And food shortages make people hungry, and hungry people get angry, and angry people can lead to armed conflict. These are just some of the possible consequences that we can suffer if we don't start conserving water now. Next, I want to discuss with you some ways to conserve water. One of the easiest ways to conserve water is just keeping general maintenance up in your household. If you look at your faucets are leaking or your sinks are dripping, these are all ways that water is not conserved in our house. If you keep your house at 100% efficiency, which I know is hard to do, you can conserve so much water. Another way to conserve water is to minimize your usage of water. If you look at your sprinklers and your showers, those are easy ways to conserve water. One trick that I like to use is when you're shaving, instead of keeping a continuous flow of water to rinse it off, you get a small pool of water at the bottom of your sink and just dip your razor in it, because that's one easy way just to save water. Also, using full loads in your laundry and dishwasher are easy ways to save water. The best way to save water is to increase awareness about water for future generations. If you tell people to save water now because it can affect their kids and increase that awareness, that is the easiest way to save water. In conclusion, I showed you why we should save water, how we use it every day, and it's a renewable source, but it's not renewing at the speed that we need it. I then told you the consequences, that it may not be available to future generations, and it could lead to shortages of water and food, and possibly even armed conflict. And I showed you many ways to save water. If you keep your general maintenance up, and you minimize your uses, and you increase your awareness, those are easy ways to save water. Water affects our lives directly. It can be the difference between life and death for many.